Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. My name is Mitch Tilly. I'm your host, and of course we're covering regional MMA, specifically today, this interview covering the main event, or one half of the main event of Beatdown Promotions 7, which was May 11th in Townsville. It was the first time the promotion hit up Townsville, one of the first major MMA promotions in a while to visit Townsville. We've got Bricktop Jack James, who is the Townsville boy local. Damien Brown even said, basically the card built around him to sort of, give Townsville what they need. And of course, he trains out of Courage Training Centre, which is Townsville. And there was a lot of Townsville boys on the card. And it was great for North Queensland. If you are not from Australia, Queensland is like our Texas. And yeah, it was great. So Jack James, if you haven't seen the fight, you can hit up Beatdown Promotions or just search Jack James versus Adam Cook. Adam Cook kind of burst back onto the scene after a while. He's got a nice record, very exciting fighting style. Trains out of City Kickboxing as well, which I'm tired of explaining City Kickboxing, but you would already know. I've got former UFC champions and UFC fighters and future UFC champions there. And Jack James kind of did not look great in the first round. He got head kicked and literally nearly got finished like 3 times. It was heckers. But the brilliant refereeing of Peter Hickmon let it go. He's our best referee. He's our John McCarthy. He's our Herb Dean, back when Herb Dean was good. He's our Mark Goddard. He let it go. Excellent decision by him, because Jack James ends up coming back and finishing Adam Cook in the third, and Townsville erupted. So we've got Jack James jumping on, and he's just going to have a chat and let us know where his head's at, like literally, physically, figuratively, emotionally, in every which way. Kind of what's next when we can see him back. And he's just a good old Ocker bloke. I love a lot of these boys, and yeah, it's good to chat with Jack James. He's a future champion. So without further ado, guys, Australian MMA _ if you want, if you want to get involved on Instagram, just send us a message, or australianmma.com.au. Time codes below if you want to skip to your favorite bit. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Jack James. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. One of my favorite emerging contenders, Jack James. Welcome.
Thanks, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good. I thought you were dead. Round one against Adam Cook. You kicked the head. Your back of your head hit the mat. I thought that was nearly as hard as the kick. I thought Jack James is dead. Oh no, the Townsville crowd's gonna riot. This whole card's built around him. The Beatdowns promotion is probably gonna go out of business and crumble, all because of Jack James. But then you came back and you won. First of all, how are you feeling?
Feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. Actually, I haven't even had a sore head, so that's a bonus.
Oh, now how hard? I mean, a stupid question, but like, how hard was that kick?
Yeah, it was a good kick. It was a good kick, but to be honest, at the time I didn't even know I got hit with it. I was just fighting and wondered what happened. To be honest, the first time I knew about it was when I sat back in the corner and looked up at the big screen, and I was, oh, geez, it's not ideal.
Are you one of those fighters that kind of takes pride in kind of getting hurt, battling back, getting the victory, or would you prefer like a flawless victory?
Yeah, flawless win, flawless. Coach talks about it all the time. He's like, you don't want to be known as the tough guy. You want to be known as the guy that can fight, not the guy that's, he's just, he can fight, he's tough. Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. I'd rather just win easily and not get hurt ever.
Well, luckily you're both. First, when was like the turning point for you? Because like, obviously, I mean, like you said, you looked at the big screen, you didn't even really know that you got kicked in the head. But there would have been a moment where maybe your coaches were like, hey, look, round one wasn't your best round. Like, you probably would have thought you were down. At what point did you kind of really feel the momentum sort of swing?
Definitely near the end of the second round, especially when the crowd started yelling out and chanting Jack. That was pretty cool. It gave me a good little boost. But even in the third round, I remember coach telling me that I probably got the second round, but even going out in the third round, I still thought I had to finish the fight to win it. So I did feel the momentum change, but I just thought because I was pretty far behind, I had to do a lot of work.
Yeah, it very easily could have been a draw. Like you could have won 2 and 3, 10-9, and that could have been a 10-8, or you never really
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, to get that finish, I mean, how well, first of all, how was it being in the ring with Adam Cook? Did you know much about him before? And obviously, what are your thoughts after?
Yeah. Well, I did watch his last couple of fights, and I did think he was going to fight like that, hands down, fair bit of head movement, pretty trendy. But when I was actually there trying to hit him and like the game plan I'd come up with, it was pretty hard to hit him. And it's just so tricky. Like someone hands down and so confident in their abilities like that. You're trying to hit him and you're missing him, and then you're getting kicked in the head. It throws a spanner in the works.
Did you have training partners? Like, did you get your training partners to fight with like their hands down, and like how did you prepare?
Not so much like hands down, but I said have some fun, throw some spinning stuff, keep swapping stances all the time, and I think they did a good job at it. They were having fun anyway.
And is it frustrating fighting someone like Adam Cook in his style?
It's all part of the challenge, I suppose. It's all part of the challenge.
And in terms of getting to fight in front of the home crowd, it looked
Yeah.
electric. Can you put into words what it was like?
It was insane. It was crazy. It was so loud and everyone was cheering so much, and it was just such a good feeling, especially after the fight when I got the finish. The place went crazy. It was like everyone was standing up cheering. It was the best feeling ever. Like it was like the fairy tale ending to the weekend.
Would you have been it's kind of a weird question, but would you have been upset if they'd stopped that in the first round, having watched the first round?
Yeah, like at the time, I didn't realize it was as close. Like Pete, I didn't realize he got as close as he did. I remember thinking, oh, geez, like that was a tough round. But it was only when I watched it back, I was like, that was close. Yep. Yeah, that was close.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he didn't stop it, obviously.
Yeah,
But yeah.
it is good because it's like you actually see him like kind of run in, back out, run in,
Yeah.
back out. You love when a ref is like real, and I would say it's a credit to you as well because refs know who are fighting. Like if that was like some amateur bout, obviously they probably
Yeah.
jump in. You know what I mean? You're glad they don't, like because obviously it this is why we love fighting. It gives you a
Yeah.
chance to sort of come back and at the end of the day it was the right call. But like you've had a few moments like that where you've really battled back from like sort of getting hurt at times. Is that, I don't know, like you said, you don't want to be the tough guy. Is that something you're really
No.
going to critique in sort of reflection?
I mean, I'm just going to keep fighting the whole time, like I'm just going to keep coming forward, just keep fighting.
Did you kind of set Townsville on fire that night, or how was the after party?
It was good, but wow, I didn't want to drink too much because I knew I shouldn't have been drinking, but I just had a sneaky couple, but I suppose I might have to set the town on fire this weekend.
Yeah, how does that work for in terms of obviously you get the win? It's not flawless. Your head probably took some knocks it shouldn't. Do you not spar? Are you not sparring for a couple of weeks, or what's the deal?
Yeah, no, I definitely won't get hit in the head for a while. 2 to 3 weeks or so. Yeah,
Right back
yeah,
in there. How is
yeah. I'll be
your
out of grapple still.
well? How's your trainings in general? Like, are you a bit of a kind of are you a touch sparrer, or do you kind of go to war?
Nah, we definitely look after each other here. We make sure we don't dish out too many head knocks, and maybe close to a fight, you pick up the sparring a fair bit, but we're always in here for the longevity too, so we can put training camps back to back.
And how was Adam Cook in the strength department? Because from that outlook, and of course his previous fights, it did look like a lightweight coming up. I was speaking to Damien Brown. He said you're quite narrow in the waist. Don't know how he knows that, but he said that like that's where like you're not as heavy as you might like look at times.
Yeah.
How did he feel in terms of strength?
Well, he was strong. Yeah, I couldn't like I was locking my hands together under his butt cheeks, and I could still not pull him off the fence and take him down. I actually that surprised me. Sometimes I had my hands locked, and I even did the old sneaky, like I put my fingers in my own gloves, and I was like, this is an unbreakable grip. No way he's getting out of this. Somehow he still popped his hips, got two underhooks, and spun me around.
Also, is that legal? Can you grab your own gloves?
You can. You can. Well, I can. Nah, best in the business. Peter Hickmott told me one time you can grab your own gloves, so I've run with it ever since then.
I love it.
He said you could grab your own shorts too. As long as it's your own stuff, you can grab it. So
That's
I've
cool.
been doing it.
Never even thought of that. That's actually a good idea. Like if you're like caught an armbar or you're like trying to tighten up the triangle, you can just like rip your own shorts. I like that. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Or though, didn't some guy in the UFC like, oh, who was it? Was it Armin versus Charles Oliveira who like slipped out of his own shorts? Like he was
Yeah,
like,
well, his
yeah,
pants came down.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. That's a good
Mate, Peter
idea.
Hickmott will let it go.
No, mate, where do you reckon this bout puts you? Because just in the sort of beatdown narrative of what we saw, and kind of how you've been going lately, I've heard you and Joseph Luciano floated around as just like a nice little matchup. Do you think that kind of you need to be fighting for that number one contender, that title sort of shot next?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Beatdown. Well, he's got another show in a couple of months, so I won't be on that one, but he'll definitely have another one before the end of the year. So I might possibly be on something like that. Yeah, but for sure, like I definitely want to fight a top guy next time. Not saying Adam Cook, not a top guy, but yeah, I definitely want to fight a top guy, not just to have a fight, to have a fight.
No, it was the Adam Cook one. I feel like was you're kind of only as good as your last fight, and you're only as good as the last year or two, and then everyone weirdly forgets you and moves on. So I
Yeah.
feel like Adam Cook, it was a good reintroduction to Adam Cook type thing, where
Yeah.
when you bring a guy out of, if he hasn't fought within a year or two, at least in Australia or kind of where it's known type thing, I feel like people don't give you the sort of credit that it deserves. But I think
Yeah. Yeah.
it puts Adam Cook back in the limelight as well as you. So you mentioned not fighting in July on Beatdown. Is that just because of recovery or?
Yeah. Yeah. One, because, just take it a little bit easier after the fight, but putting back-to-back camps together, which is what I just did, like 2 fights in that sort of 8-week span. I just was having, a few troubles in fight camp, injuries popping up and, trying to nurse a couple of injuries. So if I did back-to-back, definitely be putting a toll on the body. So I'll just have a bit of a breather but I'll definitely fight by the end of the year for sure, another once or 2 times.
Are you a guy that wouldn't mind doing like some boxing or some Muay Thai, or are you that guy, or are you strictly MMA?
Yeah. No, I've like between my last MMA fights, I boxed and do kickbox. I've had a fair few, boxing and kickboxing fights. It's a great way to fill in the time. Keep active. It definitely keeps you motivated in training too. If you don't have a fight for 4 months, MMA, but you got a boxing fight in a couple of months, you're still training boxing, practicing your footwork, head work, keeping fit.
No, I feel like it's good.
I believe in that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think it's good too because it's like it keeps you like active, but it doesn't hurt your career. Because like you can get sparked in boxing, and we're still like, nah, it's not MMA, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Mate, talk about obviously the gym, the people, the culture of Townsville. Like, how good was? Fuck, this sounds like such a wanky beatdown question, but how good was it to get a promotion in Townsville and get the love? Of course, you got some young up and coming fighters. Just like, what was it like?
So good. Like, must have had 10, 11 MMA fights down there. Never been in Townsville, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Melbourne, all over the place, but to finally have one in Townsville. And I was trying to tell these guys that were having their first fight or their second fight, I was like, I had to wait 7 years to have my first fight in Townsville. I've always, gone away and traveled, and that they were lucky enough to have their first, second fight here, but they've done a lot of training in that as well. So it was so good. The whole gym was like a buzz for the couple of months leading up, because we had people fighting as well in Brisbane on the same day, like kickboxing fights. So we had 6, 7 people getting ready for fights on the same weekend. So such a good buzz. So good.
Must have been like Christmas for you guys. It's like,
Yeah.
working towards it. Nah, it's cool. Like, I like how just that in general, like, I like how the sport has evolved. I remember back in maybe like less than 10 years ago, the Steve Kennedy, Callum Potter days where they were fighting at like halftime of a Muay Thai show. And that was like,
Yeah.
they were the top of the league. And now you've got like your Eternals, your Hexes and
Yeah.
Beatdown. Like even your coach must be telling you like how lucky you are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's been flat out. He's been flat out trying to manage all of us, keeping us on task.
Well, I mean, speaking of management, what's the plan going forward? You're turning into quite the prize fighter. Is your coach managing your stuff? Are you going to look to try and get signed, or what's the deal?
Yeah, I just do whatever coach says. I just do whatever coach says. He chooses the fights, he picks the fights, and I just show up and fight.
Because, mate, you are getting it to the pointy end of your career, not in time, but in skill and performance. Where I mean, some big calls, man. You win 2 more fights, and
Yeah.
it could all very well happen. Do you feel like that's a real possibility?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like, a couple of fights, especially if I beat like a top guy in the next fight, or maybe sneak over to one of these other promotions like Hex and a Turtle and take out some of their guys that, like, we're looking pretty good.
I mean, you said you don't want back-to-back camps, but if they turned around and they said, hey, Alden Bates for the belt, or I don't know, I think John Varkey and Lockie Stead, I think, are going for the eternal belts.
Yeah.
That one's quite soon. Say someone falls out from that one and they go, hey, Jack, come on over, take this fight. Would you take it?
I can't think of what the dates are for that one, but not if it's in the next month, just because it's just not smart. It's just not smart. If you go in there and get head kicked again in the first round, like, it's not going to be good for your body.
Well, let me ask you this. What if, I mean, this is completely hypothetical, but what if Dana White Contender Series is like, hey, we want you to fight. It's next month.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. 100%.
All right, cool.
Yeah,
So
you'd have to do that the weekend after a fight if you got that.
I want to know. Everyone's got a
do
price.
that next weekend. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll just stir the pot and say Eternal, Hex, and Beatdown. You're not as good as the UFC. That's no, that's cool.
Geez, I'd love that Eternal or Hex belt. So they may have to keep an eye out for me over there.
Do you wish Beatdown Promotions had a title? Because you would have that belt by now.
I'll be hitting him up for the next one anyway. Yeah. Actually, that's a great idea. If I fight again for him by the end of the year, I'm telling him he's putting a belt on. And he'll say, no, I don't believe in it. No, I don't believe in it. And I'll say, well, just put one up anyway then. You don't have to believe in it. Put one up for me.
Yeah, like the Conor
Put it
McGregor
up
Floyd.
on the gym.
Yeah, like the
I'll put it up on
Mayweather
the gym somewhere.
You know that WBC money belt they made for like McGregor and Mayweather, where that wasn't even a real belt, but it was just like there. That's what they need. That's what they need. No, that's cool, mate. All right, well, what's the plans for like kind of next couple months? Like you said, you're kind of taking it easy, but like, are you just just training, just coaching? Like, what's in mind?
Yeah, training, coaching, and we got to start thinking about the next fight really, because if I fight again in 4 months, by the time you have a bit of a lighter month, you got a 12-week fight camp just around the corner. So yeah, just training, coaching. Coach is actually away now for a little bit of time, so I'll kind of be running the gym, keeping all our fighters on task, because we've got still some more fighters coming up in the next couple of weeks. So busy. We're busy.
Who's one to look out for at Courage?
Well, we've got a few MMA fighters coming up now. We had Sebastian Woods on that card, Kobe Woodlynch on that card, and then we might have someone else having their MMA debut as well coming up soon, Ethan. So, got to watch out for all those guys.
Who gives you your toughest time?
One of my main training partners is Bulla Ratu. He hasn't had any fights, but I'll tell you what, every time I take him down, he gets back to his feet. Like someone that just jumps in the ring on me with this Saturday, crikey, I take him down. He gets back up. He has me huffing and puffing. So one day we'll get Ra to a fight and it'll go fireworks.
Oh, and mate, before I let you go, is there sort of a name or a guy that you don't have to call him out, but just someone you want to kind of get in the ring with next?
Just one of the top guys. One of the top guys on Beatdown Promotions, or maybe on that eternal belt out of Lockie Stitt and Varkey, or maybe Alden Bates for that Hex belt.
Oh,
All respect to them. I'm not calling them out, but
nah, I'll stir it.
I would love what they have. Yeah, I'd love the belt.
Well, that I like that. Maybe here we go. Damien Brown will have to give you a belt to keep you. That's what,
Yes.
that's what it's going to have to do.
That's a deal.
All right, dude.
That's a deal.
I will let you go. I appreciate the time. Is there anything? I mean, I know you did just get kicked in the head when you got the microphone. Is there anyone else that you kind of wanted to thank, or that you didn't get to kind of highlight on Saturday night?
Just everyone that trains with me, everyone at the gym. Like, we have just people helping us out now all the time. So Coach Boney obviously looks after it all, but got so many training partners and sponsors that help me through it. So shout out to all of them.
Awesome, mate. You're an absolute legend. Legit thought you were dead. It was cool to see you come back and win.
Rise from the dead, eh?
Let's come back,
See you,
Jack
mate.
James. See you later, brother.